Hey, hi, good morning. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I just came back from Oxnard Plaza Park where I was able to join with some friends in the Martin Luther King Day March. And as we were kind of like focusing on the program, I was thinking about all of the hate crimes that have happened over the last year, especially. You know, I just don't know. I don't know what's really going on, but it makes me sad. And also another powerful takeaway was just how many military people were there at the march. And thinking about people who are putting themselves and their lives on the line to protect our First Amendment rights and our rights to just be. And this brings me to also thinking about the powerful civil rights demonstrations that happened all over this country in the 1960s and continue to happen to this day, especially in 2015. So I wanted to give a tutorial on protecting your phone while you're demonstrating and exercising your First Amendment right, especially when you go to gather with other people. That these days their law enforcement has like ways to actually tap into your phone. You have to encrypt your data. You have to go through certain security protocols for yourself so that you're not exposed, and the people who are on the wrong side of history as you exercise your right to assemble really can't violate your civil liberties at that moment. So I wanted to go over 10 different things that you can do to actually protect yourself while you're demonstrating and exercising your right to assemble. Number one is to enable on this list. Here I am on the Electronic Frontier Foundation's website. So this would more or less refer to iPhone, or not iPhone users, but Android users and computers, that you would enable full disk encryption on your device. So if you're an iPhone user, Apple actually utilizes iCloud, which is a very strong encryption. It's an unbreakable encryption algorithm that not even Apple can break. So it's impossible for anyone without the passcode to log into your phone. So when you enable full disk encryption on a Mac, that means going to the system preferences and then navigating to File Vault, and you have to keep your password secure for File Vault. You can get locked out of File Vault and it gets ugly. So it's just trying to restore a lost password from File Vault. So you have to make sure that you have your password. So you can unlock it with your iCloud password too, but again, you have to make sure that you're safeguarding your password and you do not lose it. You can reset an iCloud password with two-factor authentication. So in that way, you can like more easily decrypt File Vault. But if you lose the password, you're really going to be in trouble. You will not be able to access your data. So be very cautious when you encrypt your Mac, because if you lose the password, that's it. You can register a key with AppleCare, but you've got to do this at the responsibility of keeping your password. So with Android phones, okay, so something I didn't know about Android, but I'm learning now. So recent versions of Android, and I knew about iOS, require full disk encryption capabilities to be built into devices. So that's pretty cool. Chances are, even if you're an Android user, you'll be covered. So protect your devices. So another thing that's going to be important to do, now I'm going to go back to the phones, and then I'm going to show you a couple of apps. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to participate by FaceTime, you can let's see, looking up the number. I just have to look up the FaceTime phone number. I think it's on Twitter. So if you'd like to join the discussion, you can do that by FaceTime. You have to use your real phone number and identity in order to join by FaceTime. So the number is 805-816-3792. At this time, I cannot see any comments, or I can't see questions on the screen. So if you'd like to ask a question, you can also text that number too, 805-816-3792. So what you want to do before you go to the demonstration is you want to remove your fingerprint unlock. So iOS will allow you to go into the settings and to Touch ID and passcode, and you just toggle it off, remove Touch ID. In Android, disabling this feature may depend on your device manufacturer. For Nexus devices, which I guess that's the most secure Android device, go to Settings, Security, Nexus Imprint, and delete the fingerprints from the menu. So you can, I believe, toggle them on and off on certain Android devices, so just be mindful of that. So you can take photos and videos without unlocking your device, so make sure your device is locked. And for example, here I have on my screen, this is the iPhone 10. You will just press the key, and then I can take a picture without unlocking my phone. Here I have a picture of my little dog sleeping. So then my phone is still locked. Still locked. So make sure if you're going to take any photos or video that your device is locked and that you don't unlock it, because your phone can be taken from you and then someone can look through all of your stuff, whether it be law enforcement or private security is a big one, or members of like the opposition. They will take your stuff without ethics. There's an app called Signal, and what it does is it encrypts. It's end-to-end encryption. So it works for both iOS and Android. It's a messaging app, much like, let's say, WhatsApp, but the encryption is a lot stronger than you have on WhatsApp. It's actually encryption that works. WhatsApp, people have cracked WhatsApp and have been able to see messages that have been going back and forth. That happened pretty famously at the beginning of the Trump presidency, where people were sending messages back and forth, and then they were leaking information, thinking that they were under in an encrypted situation on WhatsApp, but they were not. So WhatsApp it's not as secure as Signal. So it's a free app. You can get it from the App Store if you're an iPhone user, or you can get it on Android. So it's got strong encryption to protect both text messages and voice calls. So let's see here. What else do we have? So the Electronic Frontier Foundation has a guide also. It's called the Surveillance Self-Defense Guide for Street Level Protests. You can go to the EFF.org website to read that if you want to. Use a prepaid disposable phone. I have one. I really like, this is the number that I gave out. It's a prepaid disposable. It's not disposable, it's an iPhone SE. But it is on a service that's just pay as you go. And I like to use that phone. It makes me feel kind of secure. I pay for it with a debit card that is also disposable debit card. I don't mess around when it comes to my personal security, especially when it comes to my First Amendment rights. I like to protect myself because I just really feel that that's important. If you look back on even recent history, the things that were happening at Standing Rock, the invasion of privacy, the Black Lives Matter demonstrations, it was really unbelievable how people's privacy was being violated all the time. So I won't go into that into too much detail, but identities were stolen. Let's just say that. And so we're not going to let that happen twice. So back up your data. Make sure that before you go out to a demonstration, or before you maybe even do something like this, make sure that your data is backed up. Enable airplane mode. So this is very important. You might not be able to, you won't be able to get messages while you're on site. Like let's say you're going to a march or a demonstration or a protest. You won't be able to call out, get messages, or get phone calls in for that time. But also your transmission, your messages transmissions won't be intercepted either. So if you're organizing a demonstration, consider alternatives to Facebook and Twitter. That's a very good idea, because Facebook and Twitter, I remember when we were doing the Idle No More in-person demonstrations, there were members of law enforcement that were present, which, I mean, they're invited too, but their intention was to see what was going on. And they were reading our public Facebook events and stuff like that. So you might want to just go back old school and hand out some flyers. That's a good way to just spread the word, and people will maybe take the flyer. You might think that they lose it, but a lot of times people will just take a picture of the flyer with their phone and have it on their phone and distribute within their networks. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, I want to talk about my BFF Nord VPN. Nord encrypts your signal. It works on both phone, and it will work on Android and iOS, iPads, iPhones, tablets, and smartphones to encrypt your data, which is really, really important. And it will also work on Mac, PC, Linux. It'll work on Raspberry Pi. It will work on all incarnations of Windows, dating back to XP, to Windows 10, and all versions of the Mac OS. So it'll protect your internet connection, which is really very, very important. If you're using an older computer, the security protocols are less. We're always getting security updates. If you have a newer computer, you'll notice that you're always getting security updates. But older systems are no longer, once a certain past a certain point, they're no longer being updated. So you have to take that initiative yourself. And it's easier to prevent a problem than to try to solve it. And with NordVPN, and this is an affiliate link that I've provided. So I've partnered with NordVPN, and they're sponsoring this. Content in part because I've got an affiliate link. So using NordVPN is a very good way. VPN at all is a very good way to just protect your identity and just kind of control the amount of information that goes out about you. So if you have any questions, if you're making comments, I'm telling you right now, I can't see them. Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Periscope, I can't see any of that. But if you have a question, please feel free to FaceTime in. That number again is 805-816-3792. And you can send a text message to that number too if you have any questions. So yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen with you and show you kind of like what these apps look like, and provide some information. And we'll go over Signal first, and then we're gonna take a look at Proton Mail, which is secure email, which is a really good thing to have, and it's based in Switzerland. And then we'll take a look at NordVPN together. So I'm gonna share my screen, and you're gonna see my just for a moment, you're going to see my Social Live broadcaster. Here's Social Live. I love this thing. You could broadcast all over the place. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. We're everywhere today. So that's pretty sweet. So here we have the Signal app. And what I'm going to show you, let's see here, is basically what it does. So it works, it works for desktop too. I didn't realize that. That's pretty sweet. So, gosh, it's endorsed by Edward Snowden. Like, what more do you want here? And then here we have Laura Poitras. She endorses it too. Scalable encryption tool. That's pretty sweet. So yeah, your phone calls and your texts will be... Oh, video calls too. That's pretty awesome. I didn't know about that. Probably should have read more about it, I guess, before I started this. But we're learning together. That's pretty awesome. So it just works with your existing phone service. And then it keeps your messages private. And then you can erase your messages too. Like it never happened. So that's pretty awesome. And it's always free. It's open source. So that is super cool. Install the Signal app anywhere you want to. I have it on my phone. All right, so then we're going to take a look at another free, or maybe not free if you want it to not be free, Proton Mail. So this is secure email, and you get encrypted email. So let me just explain a little bit about how the TCP/IP protocol works. So that is how our internet communication works. So whether you're sending out a request for information to come back to your computer, you're sending out email, or you're sending out text messages, what this does is it sends out a packet of information, if you will. That's what's in your envelope. And let's say that if you're not using a VPN or a virtual private network, it's almost like sending a postcard out to a server. Because on the way to the web server, your request for information can be translated to clear text. So if your internet service provider, now that net neutrality is gone, wants to kind of harvest your information or where you're going on the internet, that information can be intercepted, hypothetically. We don't know how things are all shaking out with net neutrality happening. It's pretty new, but your information can be very easily harvested. And so Proton Mail puts let's just say another envelope around the envelope, another envelope around the letter that you're sending or your postcard, so that that information can't be extracted from your internet requests. And that's on the way out and on the way back into your computer. So a virtual private network is really an important way to protect your safety and your privacy and protect the information that you want to send and receive online. So Proton Mail, this is secure email. This is an email account that has encryption baked in. So it's there's a free account and a paid account. It has end-to-end encryption, anonymous email. So you can open up an account pretty easily without providing any details about your identity if you don't want to. You just have to remember to remember the password and also use it not super frequently, but you have to use it from time to time. So it's open source email, which means that a lot of different contributors develop the program to make it better. So it's not just one company such as Microsoft or Apple that is contributing to this. Makes it free, and it makes sure that new ideas are always being implemented. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You can see what the interface looks like. This is what your inbox will look like. So it looks a lot like the other email programs out there. It's very easy to see how you can create an email. Here's the huge button, Compose. You see your inbox, your drafts, your sent mail. You can kind of put things in folders or label them. And that's pretty easy. So end-to-end encryption. That means the way that it's goes out to the internet's completely scrambled. I'm just going to take a moment to manually check my Facebook to see if there are any comments anything I can answer. Super quick while you're checking this out. All right, no comments so far. Oh, that's cool. Just making sure. We have everything. Okay. All right. And then lastly, I want to show you Nord VPN and how that works. So Nord is going to be on the App Store, and it's also going to be on the Android store. And the way that it works is you download the Nord app. First of all, you will create an account with a username and password. And then you can, it's very inexpensive. It's $79 for 2 years. When you use my affiliate link, you'll get a discount. And so basically it breaks down to like $3 a month, and you'll have a very secure way to connect to the internet. It also has what's known as a kill switch. So if your internet connection doesn't connect right away to one of these secure servers, it just stops transmitting, which is really important. Nord will never sell your information. So that's pretty awesome. Nord will never, ever, ever sell your information to anyone. It's very important that you know the terms of service when you choose a VPN service, so that the information that you're putting out there, you're trusting that the server that is then going to create a secure connection for you, that provider is not harvesting your information either, because that can happen. So then you can see this country list. I'm not going to change countries because it will cut this broadcast off, or this live feed. But you can see there are a bunch of different countries, and they have like 2,800 servers all over the world. So you're never competing with anyone to make a secure connection. They have so many servers that are providing this VPN service, that you can actually, you don't have to, it won't slow your internet connection down very much. Well, nominally, but you really won't notice a difference. They say that in all fairness, you can maybe expect sometimes for it to go down 30%, but I have never seen it happen that way. So at least they're setting an expectation that it will slow down your internet connection, although I have not personally noticed a difference. Going live takes a lot of bandwidth, and I'm using a VPN and I'm not noticing any difference in speed. In fact, I'll show you here on my social live. Let's see where to go. The social live window. All right, here we go. Here's social live. And then here I have 30 megabyte per second bandwidth. So that's pretty sweet. So that's one way to keep yourself secure. I'm just going to go back here, and before I log off, and just say thank you for joining, and give one last chance for anyone who would like to ask a question, or if you're having a problem with your computer, or you'd like to talk about Mac stuff, feel free to go ahead and you can FaceTime this number. Let's see here. I have to look it up because it's a burner phone. 805-816-3792 is the number. So I'll just keep the line open for a minute and just see if anyone would like to participate, or anyone has questions. Then you can feel free to ask. You can send a text message and I'll get that and be able to either read your question. You can FaceTime in, you can FaceTime audio in, whatever you would prefer. But I'm here to answer your questions if you have them. And yeah, happy Martin Luther King Day. What an amazing person, and remarkable time in history, and remarkable times that we're living in now, that we have to redouble these efforts. So yeah, I guess there aren't any questions, but I really appreciate you watching. And if there's anything that you need help with, please send me a message on social media. You can tweet at me at AppleGreenTech. You can leave a comment under this video on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook Live in a few different places. So I'm really trying to get the message out there, so that you can protect your right to assemble, your right to free speech. And yeah, I think that's all really, really powerful, especially on a day like today that marks lives lost for people fighting white supremacy, really toxic ways of running things. Hopefully that's all changing. Definitely going to put our effort into that intention. And thank you for watching. So if there are no questions, I think I'm going to just shut it down. But yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day.